right. Uh, should be sitting pretty. Uh, just, okay. Hello! Tensi knock. We should probably go ahead and get that link and send it in the Discord as well before we get started. You can tell I taught today. My Wednesday top is teaching because I'm wearing this super teacher coded. It's a gift for Christmas actually. Is this plaid shirt. It's real comfy cozy. Real comfy cozy. I feel like what I am, which is an art teacher. Well, music teacher, but like music is an art. You know. So let's go ahead and get that live link. I'm gonna post it in the Discord. I'll post it in announcements. I'll add everyone just to be safe. Hop in if you can. Almost did a question mark. Cool. Right now we have the Xenoverse score playlist going alongside this. And I'm gonna wait until. Oh, does. I actually don't know if OBS tells me how many people are watching. It does not. OBS does not tell me how many people are watching. Streamlabs does. But Streamlabs is an open source, so I think by definition it's worse because of that. I just tucked the hair away and it came loose. Hopefully the ping get people kind of flooding in. That hair's gonna be down forever. It's gonna do. This looks awful. This looks terrible. Oh, Ralph Ganondorf. I'm gonna wait to answer questions until more people kind of get in. And I'm gonna check and see if maybe it can. right one? Should be. Hello, Jokino. Well, I guess there's no... There's no way to really check that. Unless I'm stupid. It's just like a year. Nope. Well, I can see the chat through OBS, so... I suppose I will open up the floor to questions. Hello, Z-Dog. So we'll do questions now. We're going to... Hello. We're going to kind of localize the questions to just, Project Truth, which now you all know is Phoenix Wright versus Makoto Naegi. There's a lot to explain, and I can't really do it all in just a trailer, because oh my god, there's so much work I have to do and so much stuff that's going to have to go into it. I try to match kind of the broad strokes in the trailer, but there's just so much stuff that's going to have to go into it. So, as opposed to kind of talking about, future stuff, I want to try and keep it like, if you have questions or like comments or anything like that, I'll try and answer them to the best of my ability. So I'm going to open the floor to that now. If you have like questions about what Project Truth is, what it entails, what's going to happen with it, how it's going to work, and what all is going to go into it, I can reveal some of it to you. I can't reveal everything, obviously, because I want it to be somewhat of a surprise as you go through it. But I can explain kind of the ethos of it, the reason why, not the reason why I want to make it. I feel like you all know why I wanted to make it. So yeah, let's get those questions in. Oh wow, that was a good one. Ooh, that felt nice. Ooh. Like I said, this is mainly going to be about the finale. So let's not ask questions about the future. So while I do have plans for a third season, if we get there, I'm more concerned about getting the information about this out. And by the way, so how will the two be set up to go against each other? So the big thing is that it's not going to be a traditional versus universe fight in many regards. It's not going to be a traditional versus fight in many regards. It's going to be essentially what's going to happen is there's going to be two sides to it. I've named them side Phoenix, side Makoto. And depending on which character you pick at the start, you're going to uncover the mystery in the way that would relate to those two specific franchises. So if you pick Phoenix, you get something more akin to Ace Attorney. And if you pick Makoto, you get something more akin to Danganronpa. So the way they're going to be set against each other is that their investigations are going to clash a couple times. They are going to meet each other throughout the investigation process, and then after the investigation process is done, kind of how the games work. You do investigation, then you go to the trial. The trial is instead going to be Phoenix on the defense versus Makoto on the prosecution. So it's going to be set up more like Ace Attorney style, so that we can have that gameplay style represented by Ace Attorney, but still have kind of the discussion, truth bullet kind of thing that Makoto has going for him. So the way it's set up is that it's a trial for something. I don't know if I'm going to say what it is, but the basic gist of it is that they are going to be set up against each other, diametrically opposed, and it's going to be a court battle. It's going to be a court battle, and I think that's all I want to say about that. There's not going to be fisticuffs at all. That is not why this matchup interests me, and I think a lot of other people. People like, I can't think of one time Phoenix Wright ever threw hands. Don't say Marvel. I know you want to say Marvel. Don't say Marvel. Man, in canon. In canon! In canon! The ending is something I'm not going to spoil, but it will. I will say that it won't. It won't feature an execution on either side, and you get a different ending depending on which side you do. So, like, side Phoenix has his own ending, side Makoto has his ending. So that's how you get the multiple endings. And this is that it's like essentially what it is. It's a whole, like, essentially taking the multiple ending thing and extrapolating it to its furthest degree. Where, like, here's the entire character's side of the story, and you're going to have to play through both of them to get the full story and for it to make the most sense. You can play through one of them if you want to. That's my goal. I want to be able to have it be like you can play through one of them and it'll make sense. But if you play through both of them, it's going to be a lot more rewarding for you. Will there be analysis segments here? Yes, there will be analysis segments. I have not decided how long they're going to be. But I know for a fact I don't want to cover too much beyond the original Ace Attorney trilogy and Danganronpa 1. I feel like kind of Ace Attorney trilogy is like Phoenix's story. He's there, he's the main character, and then like past it, you get more into like Apollo and Athena and all that stuff. So I know he's like a major character in Ace Attorney 5 and 6. However, those are the worst Ace Attorney games, and I'll Investigations 1. The worst mainline games, I'll say, by default, they're not bad. They're not bad games. I just thinking about Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations now. That's my favorite Ace Attorney game. So yeah, the way it's gonna work is like probably gonna cover everything to up to like the ending of their original story, and then kind of talk a little bit about stuff that happens after. So like a little bit of like the Right Anything Agency for Phoenix, mentioning like Trucy, that kind of stuff. Probably not get into the whole thing with Trucy because, oh my god, actually Apollo Justice I think is a really slept on Ace Attorney game. I really like the game. But explaining Trucy's backstory would take a millennium. It's so convoluted and complex. It's honestly amazing. They did it that way. Uh, but yeah, I don't think there's gonna be much. I'm not sure how long they would be. I haven't written anything. I mean, I've written stuff for this. I have not written the analysis parts for this, and I have a general like. I have a plot describing the murder mystery and everything that happens in the murder mystery. I have an entire like full page spanning paragraph for that. I have all the characters, which Joaquin, I'm gonna get into your question here in a second. I have all the characters that are going to appear, and I have some voice actors lined up as well, uh, and I have every single song that I need to make a cover um, for in that doc. Hello, fans. Uh, so I have like a whole like I call it, it's like the Project Truth planning doc is what I named it. It has every single character, every single song, the whole plot of the mystery, essentially everything except for the actual script. And I'm still currently writing the script for Side Phoenix. That's my goal is that I want to first and foremost with this write out the entire script top to bottom with Phoenix, have that kind of lead into the entire script top to bottom with Kodo, so that I can like have them parallel each other in interesting ways, just so that I have it all written out and I can write it all out, and I can write this out and then I can write this out, and I sorry, the new question distracted me. uh, so yeah, I have a whole doc about that, and I can kind of reveal to you some characters that are going to be involved in the episode. Since this is a live stream, I can kind of get away with saying stuff, and it's not written out, so maybe people won't know. People won't remember when it comes to this. We'll talk about something I want to do actually. Maybe soon, depending on how many questions I get. But let's go ahead, and I'm going to reveal to you some characters that are going to be involved. Ace Attorney characters, of course. Phoenix Wright, Miles Edgeworth, Maya Fey. I'm going to give you those three for... Old Bag will not be there. Don't like her. Do not like Old Bag. So we got Phoenix, Miles, and Maya. Classic Ace Attorney characters. I would be remiss if I didn't put them in here. And part of this episode is me just being a fan of specifically Ace Attorney, and just I don't really like the direction they took for Maya's character in Ace Attorney 6. I think the direction actually is fine. It's just the execution of it, I feel like it could be done better, and I feel like they wanted to call back to the original Ace Attorney games. It just didn't work out. So the way it's going to work is that Maya's going to be there during the investigation process and help you out if you're playing as Phoenix. And Miles is also going to be there, because of course he's there. Of course, he's Miles Edgeworth. Of course he's going to be there. If I could get away with writing a Miles Edgeworth fight, I would. But unfortunately I can't, so I have to stick him here where he belongs. And Miles Edgeworth is going to be played by me. I've updated the autopsy report. Right. So, going in order here, how did I come up with the two endings thing? I think it stemmed from me realizing that I didn't want to have a winner in my show, and I was like, well, if I don't want to have a winner, why don't I just make two endings and like have the script have a divergent point where like here's what happens if character A wins and here's what happens if character B wins. So it really was just stemmed from the decision of like, oh, if I don't want a winner, how do I write an ending? And the answer was you write two endings. And you make them just as good as each other, which is super easy. It's not easy. Writing a versus script is not easy. I've gotten a lot better at it, I think, as time has progressed, and I've seen a lot of kudos given to Kuwabara Okuyasu, and I want to say thank you. That script was, I don't like saying like it's a nightmare to work on, but it certainly was. It was challenging to write dumb. Writing dumb effectively, and especially comedically, is way harder than you might think it is, because it can easily veer into the territory of like making fun of mental disability, and you have to like stay above that, make sure you're not punching down. But that's like the comedy lover in me talking, and I do love comedy. That's why I put it in my show. I just happen to be like, I just happen to have a very comedic mind and I happen to have very comedic sensibilities. So putting that into a fight. And by the way, I know nobody asked, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The whole I'm not standing, I'm running. That was, I shit you not, that was like the first thing I ever wrote for season 2. I was like, I came up with it randomly on a Discord call one night, and I decided, hey, this is going in the fucking episode. No matter what, this is going to be in the fucking episode. So, that's the reason why it's there. I had a stupid thought on Discord call, made my friends laugh. So I was like, if it makes my friends laugh, I'll do it. It's like my litmus test. So when can we expect to see the finale? Well, I think my thoughts are, the music is mostly done. The music, I need to do 2 more tracks for it. I need to do 2 more tracks for it, and then done. Dunzo, out of there, nothing. And hi Willow, by the way. Music's essentially done, including the remix for Hopeful Turnabout. I could release that if I wanted to, but I don't know if I want to. I don't have art for it right now. I'd have to make the art or commission the art or commission some art. So I have to write out the entire fight for both characters. Have to create tests, test renders for the game aspect of it. Commission the art for sprites for both sets of characters, which is, I think, 11 characters in total I'll need sprites for, from 2 separate artists. I need to commission backgrounds from another artist who I know. Need to read the analysis parts, edit the analysis parts, and playtest the crap out of it. So, what I'm going to be doing while working on Phoenix Makoto, because I was kind of working on Phoenix Makoto throughout the, like, I know I said it in the Discord thing, but, you know, this is YouTube, it's more public. I've been working on Phoenix Makoto, Project Truth, for the entirety of Season 2, essentially. Once I finished my work on Tenacious D vs. Ninja Sex Party, I sat down, was like, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to make for Project Truth? And I kind of just like, I've been kind of grinding away at it in the background throughout this entire process. Like, throughout the whole time, I have been like, whoo, 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 whoo. And I didn't do any writing for it, essentially. Because I'll be honest, I get writer's burnout pretty easily when working on versus universe stuff, especially longer form stuff. Like writing longer analysis parts take a lot out of me, and I think doing the Joker analysis Persona 5, not. I mean, you've all seen the show, I assume, so you know I'm talking about like the Persona Joker. Doing the Joker analysis made me realize that like I could make the analysis parts long, but do I need to? And ever since then, I've like really thought how to make the analysis parts super effective and efficient. And I think there's not a single one in season 2 that I don't think is either A, informative, or B, character narrative focused, or C, just funny. I think at least all of them hit at least one of those categories. Every single one of them. Like I think like the Vegeta one doesn't really have a lot of narrative stuff. It has some character stuff, and it has my favorite bit ever with the Ultra Ego thing. So I think, yeah, you got that. You got that. Like the Tenacious D analysis, one of my favorite analyses I've ever written. The Roxas analysis is another one where like I think I hit all three. I think still, just by like working on stuff after it and like talking about stuff after it, I still think the Roxas analysis is one of the strongest portions of any Versus Universe episode. I think it hits like the character focus, the narrative focus, showcasing the weight of the character, talking about the Versus stuff, as well as being very funny and having a super funny bit. It hits all of those beats, and it's super good because of it. I think it is honestly perfect, quite honestly. Yeah, yeah. I think like Joker analysis, flip to switch, uh, Penguin and an asexual attorney. Phoenix is like pretty bisexual. Like not canon, but essentially canon. Essentially. Uh Supplies of battles that are more one-sided, you avoid that kind of episodes. I don't believe in one-sided because I don't believe in stats. I don't think they're real. Um there is such a thing as like yeah, he's probably bi. I mean, he's whatever he's got going on with Miles, like that's some soulmate stuff. Um he's just also dated a woman canonically in the past. It was not a whiteboard, it was a cork board. I can actually, like, if I move my camera, you could see it. I could point to it. You'd be like, I get it, like the versus thing where it's like, oh, you're putting up coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb. But I just don't believe like that. Honestly, I don't believe like that. You want to know how far like down deep in that belief I am? I came up with a matchup the other day. It is Riku Kingdom Hearts versus Killua Hunter x Hunter. And that, if you put, stats to that, holy shit. And I didn't even realize it. I didn't realize it until a friend of mine was like, holy shit. Really? I was like, yeah, why? He's like, because you do this, like, outside of your show. It makes no sense. Oh, that's actually really cool. Sorry. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat in this live stream where I'm supposed to read the chat. Uh, yeah, I don't believe in unfair. Honestly. I think that every character, if you use a character in a versus show, I think that it should feel like the character has been upheld to the highest pedigree they can possibly be. And I feel like having them lose a fight knocks them down. Yeah, it's just my philosophy. It's my philosophy. Philosophy. I was looking for my drink. Hello, Nero. You see the bags under my eyes now. I agree, stats are stinky. By the way, this is a collage I put together myself that's next to me. I have not commented on it at all. This is a collage I put next to me, and you'll actually see something interesting here. I don't think anybody is pointing this out, so I get to kind of like break the news on this and like talk about him a little bit. But if you look here, by the way, I should have you all know. I plan on the seasons from start to finish in advance. So there was no like when I like, I think I've said this before, but just as like a reminder. I think when I was around halfway through season 1, I think around like Vader Obito, Dragon's playing, I like sat down and was like, if I were to do a season 2, what matches would I want to do? And I wrote them all out, and I was like, okay, let's pick an order. And I picked the order and stuck to it, actually. Season 1, the order was a little all over the place from the original order. Like, Ganondorf of Rao, which is the 3rd episode that was released, was originally, I believe, supposed to be the 7th episode. And it was wacky. It was wacky. I know the order, if I do season 3, which is a honestly, pretty safe bet right now. I've done work for it already. I've written a score. But I have planned out season 3 also in advance right now. I'm only missing one matchup out of the 9 I would make. And I have a general thesis for the season. I picked out the color scheme for the season. I'm not going to share it, and you're not going to know what it is until something that I might get to later on in the live stream. Ooh, dimensional split. Ooh. But like this collage I have here. Notice, we start with DNSP, Don Bad Horan, Ben Jaime, Dark Pit Roxas, Vegeta DDD. That's because Vegeta vs. DDD was originally going to be the 5th episode. Trying to think. No. I was trying to think what the 5th episode of last season 1 is. It was Menoth Lucio. But that was originally going to be the 5th episode. And Zuko Roy, the thing that was above it, in the little collage here, was originally going to be the 6th episode. However, I swapped the two because I think it was honestly because I wanted to like get Zuko Roy out of the way. I wanted to work on it at the time and just kind of like work on it, get it done so that I could then focus on Vegeta DDD. Because I was more excited to work on Vegeta DDD because it was allowed me to be funny. Yeah. That's why it's like that on the grid and here, because that was the original plan. Everything else, though, is the exact same. So Zoro's Hanagayama, Kuwabara Okuyasu, and Phoenix Makoto. They're also in the order in the thumbnail. I vehemently despise when people make versus shit and the characters in the thumbnail are left to right, A, B, title is BA, and the analysis parts are in a random order. I hate that. So I'll never do that in Versus Universe. If it says Tenacious D versus Ninja Sex Party, Tenacious D is going to be the first analysis, and that's going to be Ninja Sex Party. Yeah. And actually, moreover, I think I have a good night. Thank you. I think DNSV is going to be the only episode I ever do that has one ending, one concrete ending. I think. Why are you booing me? I'm right. Sonic versus Goku is in a weird state right now. Because we need to work on it. Sonic vs. Goku is going to remain a bonus thing. I don't think it's part of me or Nero's season list for either of us. And yeah, I just don't think it's going to be part of the season list. It'll be in the full episode playlist, but once season 2 is done, once Phoenix Makoto is out, it's probably going to be like between Phoenix Makoto and the first episode of season 3. Probably. Just as like a little gotcha. And my thought was like the thumbnail will probably be a different template, maybe. Like a one-time template. But Nero don't like that idea. I wouldn't do it anyway. Nah. I'm gonna do my own thing. Yeah. And you actually see here too, back on the order thing, all the characters are in order as well. So Tenacious D and the Sex Party, Dunban Orin, Ben Jaime, Roxas Dark, Vegeta Dedede, Zuko Roy, Zoro Sanageyama, Kuwabara Okuyasu, Phoenix Makoto. That's not true. Like one of the things that we have like locked down are the 2 endings for Sonic Goku. We have like very clear destination idea for both endings. It's just the in between and the analysis parts we gotta like buckle down and like get to. We did a writing session for it like I think 3 months ago. We got like a page into it because we just kept joking the entire time, and it was a little annoying. But we just gotta kind of hunker down and. No, I'm gonna say this publicly. This is a call post to Nero. If your writing partner is not with you and is playing Genshin Impact on their phone when you're working together, talk about it. I'm not over that. That really happened. I was like typing. I was in the Google Doc like typing, and he was like, "Sorry, I was playing Genshin Impact." So you were playing Genshin Impact. You were definitely. Your facts, right? It wasn't the fact that you had Genshin Impact. It wasn't. The specifics don't matter in that story. What matters is that you didn't love me enough to pay attention to me, and that's really hurtful. I didn't like that voice. Communication is important. Whatever. It's some Hoyoverse shit. Is the weather nice up there on your high horse? Somebody send me questions, or I'm just gonna keep doing this. Any of the scores on Bandcamp, I've kind of, I don't know where your dog is. I kind of jumped ship on Bandcamp. Got sold to like some, I don't remember who exactly, but I remember them being just not cool. Cameron, stop doing a bit. This Bandcamp just sucks. Now it was cool when I joined there, and I don't regret like posting stuff to it when I did. But now, no, I'm sorry. The Bandcamp is it just sucks now. Honestly, um, I did not say the 3 Danganronpa characters. Thank you for calling me out on that, Z-Dog. Um, uh, yeah, it's not fun talking business like that. It's just, uh, okay, now we have too many questions. I need to tackle these all a little bit. So no Bandcamp. I do plan on releasing an album via TuneCore now. I would use DistroKid, but DistroKid, for whatever reason, my account is bugged, and I can't like add a new debit card to like continue my account because it'll immediately get flagged as fraud. So I need to like release it through like TuneCore or something else that's not DistroKid. But yeah, I plan on releasing the season 2 OST, but I'm going to wait until Phoenix Makoto is out to do that because I wrote a full song to play over the credits for season 2, and that I plan for that to be on the album. The song is called Out of My Mind, and I've shown it to a couple people, and everybody has said that they have cried to it. So look forward to that. So the 3 Danganronpa characters, obviously, I almost said Phoenix, Makoto, Byakuya, Kyoko. Those are your 3 Danganronpa characters. And kind of to preface this, I am not really looking for voice actors at this current moment. So like, don't contact me about voice acting. I will contact you if I need somebody to do a voice. I have a voice actor for Kyoko actually, which is really nice because I never had a chance to get an AFAB VA, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So somebody that a friend of mine knows who wants to get into voice acting, so I'm giving her a chance. Structure up, plan the analysis. Well, if you watch the VOD, you'll know I already talked about it. But to kind of reiterate, the way I'm going to structure it is just going to talk about first 3 Ace Attorney games, just Danganronpa 1. Anything after that is going to be a bit, kind of like, here's what happened a little bit. Anyway, here's the ending analysis. Here's the end clip. So, like, Danganronpa 3. We'll talk about it in the briefest amount possible that I can make it. And Ace Attorney 4, 5, and 6. A little bit. Talk about Trucy a little bit. That's important. What is it like doing a choose your own adventure? It's fucking hard, man. It's fucking difficult. There's so much you have to do. And I want the choices, the way I say choose your own adventure type format because it's not a true choose your own adventure. There's not going to be like multiple endings, but it's going to be like visual novel-esque. I guess that's a better word I could have used, honestly. But the trailer's out now. I can't edit that stuff anymore. Uh, so like the writing process is like me literally like going like the entire investigation part. All right, that's just one part because there's also 3 parts for the trial. Um, so it's investigation, 3-part trial for both characters. That's 8 full sections of what I want to be like 30 to 40-ish minutes of content. So that's what 240 to 320 minutes, about, maybe, might be a little shorter. But the main thing I'm doing is like I'm going through it and then I'm like writing out like, here's a choice you can make. Here's like not a choice. Here's like an option for you. It'll be like option A, option B, and it'll be like you go through option A, that links to a new video, and then you get done with option A, and then it'll be like, do you want to continue or do you want to hear option B? And if you click like hear option B, you hear option B, and it'll be like that will lead to its own video, and then like going forward from there, you go like, okay, you're done with this conversation now. You're going to the next scene. Here's a link to the end of this that will link to the next scene, and so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. So yeah, no, it's not easy, but it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be fun writing through it. I am honestly more concerned about characterization than anything else in this. I second give myself all the time with characterization, and now I have to write. I usually like the characters in Versus Universe will get like I want to say like 30 to not even 30, like 20 to 30 lines per episode, maybe if it's a bit lengthy. But this is gonna require like upwards of, I want to say, hundreds of lines per character, depending on where they show up. So it's gonna be fucking. It's just gonna be a lot of work, no matter which way you slice it. It's gonna be rewarding work. It's gonna be fun work. But man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. It's gonna be a large amount. It's gonna be a large amount. Large. Are gonna release music on Spotify? Do you gonna like it as well? I actually. It's funny actually. I have a story about this. Smash Bracket. I like went on like a bit of a rant at some points on Twitter. I think it was like, yeah, I'm not uploading my shit to Spotify. Spotify is the worst, like the absolute worst. And like Inklings saw that. I was like, hey, do you not want us to upload your stuff to Spotify? And I was like, nah, that's all right. Mainly because like I know people are gonna complain if they don't have it on Spotify, because people like Spotify, because Spotify is easy to listen to. It's also, kind of free. I don't like using Spotify. I don't like as a user, I don't like Spotify. As an artist, I don't like Spotify. I just really dislike it. I will probably release the stuff on Spotify just so that people can have it and be happy, but I will do it through gritted teeth. I'm not a hypocrite because I hate myself for doing it. Yeah. It'll probably be released on Spotify. The Versus Universe Season 2 stuff, which one of them is playing right now. The one everybody loves, Blaze of Honor. I actually really like the score. I don't think people talk about it enough. I like my orchestral stuff. I brought an orchestral store today. Today I'm making all the music for Nick vs. Coda. So we're going all over the course of the year. Did you have just hyperfixate and spam it out all out in one short time? No. There were some hyperfixation moments where I was like, yes, yes, yes. But mainly it was like one cover out of a workday. Some covers took more time than others. There's a couple covers of like the Adagio. Why am I blinking on the name of them? The Adagio. Questioning. And their Moderato. The questioning Moderato covers were like pretty easy to do. But like some of the other ones that involved uh more instrumentation were a bit more, just required more work. A lot of the Danganronpa ones were not easy to do because replicating Danganronpa music on its own is like, as somebody who does not produce that type of music, I honestly have no idea how the fuck that guy did it. It's tons of like stuff that I am unfamiliar with, like lots of like sampling and lots of using synth patches, and lots of using synth samples, and like tons and tons of plugins. There's actually a video that has an example of a lot of the plugins that I want to say Masafumi Takada? I can't remember off the top of my head if it's Masa or Maka. I believe it's Masafumi Takada. Used in the first Danganronpa game. And I used that to actually get some samples to use in some of the covers because they were just super cleanly ripped. So yeah, there were definitely moments where I was like, oh hell yeah, Phoenix Makoto. But there were other times where I was like, I did do a cover at the request of one of my friends who was another Is Attorney Fiend, Nero, who wanted me to do a cover of a certain song from one of the games that is, I think this is the only song I cover in the whole like thing that is not from the original trilogy. There is one cover that is not from the original trilogy of Ace Attorney. Only one. I'm not going to say what it is. But it was at the request of Ariel. Thank you so much for your work on Smash Bracket. Thank you. I don't know what to say to that. I don't. I look at my Smash Bracket work and I'm like, how the fuck did I make this? I vividly remember a lot. I mean, I'm not gonna talk too much about the Smash Bracket stuff because I made that whole fucking video fucking like hour and 30 minutes long, me uncut rambling about my entire experience with the series. So I shouldn't talk about it too much because you can just watch that video if you want to like hear me just talk about like what working on Smash Bracket was like. Only thing I have to say is never working with the vocal boards again. Gonna burn that bridge. Are you happy with how Versus Universe is going nowadays? On like the second part of your comment, like you expressed complaints with it a few years back. Seem to really hit your groove with it now. I think if I ever complained about Versus Universe, it was because I was upset I couldn't make it what I wanted it to be. And I think now I can really make it what I want it to be. I feel like through Versus Universe, I've become such a better writer and editor. I feel much more confident in my ability to write and edit now. Way more than I ever have in my entire life. Yeah, whatever. Sad emojis. I don't care. I'll burn that bridge if I want to. And like at the beginning, I was still, I don't want to say I was still learning, but I was definitely, I wasn't as good. Uh, I I feel like there's certain points in the first season where you could argue, uh, that's actually, I didn't know that song. This is really neat. Uh, you could argue I flanderized the character, and I feel bad about that. Like I feel like the biggest example of that is like Mark Gohan and the ending, where I'm like, I I know at the time I debated myself about this, but I don't think Mark should have killed Gohan. I don't. I really don't. I I was still in like the death battle mindset of like, ooh, it's gonna end in a death, it's gonna end in a death. And when I wrote Gohan's ending, I was like, I can write it to where the character doesn't have to die. And it was like light bulb off the top of my head. And this entire season, it has not ended with a character death. There is not one episode. The only episode that kind of counts is DNSP. And I don't count that actually because it has a happy ending. I don't count that. I don't fucking count that at all. Which means that I'm out for blood in season 3. But like, it's really fun to just like have this kind of freedom of writing uh, with like the character and stuff like that, where he's like, I can just do whatever, essentially whatever I want with it, as long as I keep it in character, which I care about. That's the thing with like versus universe too. It's like I don't want to do a matchup I don't care about, because then it would feel inauthentic and I would not want to make it. So like for season 1, I wanted to make every single episode there. And I thought about like, I was thinking about this kind of the other day too, was like, I don't know if I would have made the same season lineup for season 1 then as I would have now. I feel like now I would have put a lot more, fun matchups, honestly. There's a lot of kind of dour matchups in that season that kind of required a more dramatic touch, and that it kind of led to the vibe of the first season being a bit more, uh, you know, overall a bit more darker, a bit more gloomy. A lot of villain matchups, a lot of like characters that kill, stuff like that. And I think that that's a fine tone to have. But when I like started out like thinking about season 2, I was like, okay, I know the first episode is going to be Ninja City versus Ninja Sex Party, so I can just like kind of go crazy with it. I can just have a lot of fun with it, and that's why like the themes for each season, like the literal themes, like the songs I made to encapsulate the theme, like the theme song, have such different vibes to them, because that's the vibe that I go into with every single episode of season 2. Is like, I'm here to kind of just goof off, tell some jokes, write a good fight, showcase characterization, and have fun. Uh, that's why I'm here. And I'm not here to like tell an hour story. I think the most serious I ever get with season 2 is Zuko Roy. And I debated on it ending in character death. I was wondering if I was going to end in character death for that one, and I decided against it. Uh, uh, yeah. My friend Eve Sunmellows told me something the other day too. Not the other day, it was like a month ago, I think, at this point. But she was like, I think for every time that I say that I like a fight in season 1, I think there is not a fight that I think is. Every single fight in season 2 is immaculate. Like, perfect. And I'm really happy with that. I'm really fucking happy with that. Like, that's all I want, honestly. If season 1 was kind of like the proving grounds where like I was still finding myself and like finding my voice as an author and as a creator, I feel like season 2 is where I really started to kind of hit my stride and made sure that there was not a single dud in this entire lineup, because they take too long to make for there to be duds. They take fucking too long to make. There's 9 episodes. We did 7 episodes this year, which means I beat my previous record of 6. And part of the quality of season 1 as well, that I think I've talked about before, is that originally from the beginning of Kurapika Scar to Nagito Milo, I was on a strict monthly schedule. I released the episodes monthly, from May to August. And then, like, when I got working on Min Off Lushu, I realized very quickly, oh no, I cannot get this out in September. So I was like, hey, I put it on the community. I think you can still see it. I was like, hey, I don't think I'm going to be able to make this by September. Are you okay with waiting until October? And everybody's like, fucking yes. Are you kidding me? Yes. Yeah, that was the big thing. I'm glad that people like my writing. I'm really glad it like resonates with people. I think part of it too is like the words themselves are only as good as I can make them, but like when I get the VAs behind it, I feel like they really elevate it. Uh, there's a lot of stuff that, like, on paper I don't think is that funny, but when I say it out loud, or when the actor says it in the recording session, uh, it becomes just hilarious or extremely heartfelt or a whole host of emotions. The line is only as good as the actor saying it, and I think all the actors I've gotten do a passable job. No, they do a great job. I gotta say, the guy I got for Ninja Brian was fucking. He was fucking awesome, dude. He was fucking great. I actually got the real Ninja Brian to play him. Yeah. I think it's in the credits, in the description. It's Ninja Brian himself. I let you goof off when you narrate because it's funny. I am I gonna tell the waddle? Is it Waddle Doo? It was a Waddle Doo, right? Uh, that is why Ninja Brian sounded so good. Yeah, yeah. I to like crack the edifice a little bit. I do think it's funny that the narrator is essentially playing Ninja Brian in that episode. And by the way, I think every time I've only done it twice, and I quote Earth food. That was really good. That was a really good read. I love that read so much. Damn it, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. Both guest narrators. I think I've only had 2 this season, because I think I've only been technically in 2 episodes. I think they both did a great job, honestly. And I wasn't planning on. I don't think I've told this story publicly, but I guess with that real quick. I was not planning on voicing Vegeta. I was not planning on voicing Vegeta. I've never seen it written out as NSD before, and Z-Dog, I want you to have all my money. But I wasn't originally going to play Vegeta. Nero was originally going to play Vegeta, and that was like the one casting decision I made, like right when the season started. I was like, all right, I know, I know a couple things. I know that I want, I believe I knew I wanted Eve for Dark Pit, Cameron for Roxas, and I wanted Nero for Zuko, because Zuko is voiced by Dante Bosco. Dante Bosco is and Nero is, so that's why he voices Zuko, you know. Uh, but he wanted to voice Vegeta too, and I was like, okay, you know, whatever. I think you do a good job with it. Um, but then he was kind of getting cold feet around the time the episode was about to, like, it was in production, and I was like, okay, uh, well, I don't really have anybody lined up, and I feel like I have an okay Vegeta impression, so I was just like, all right, how would I go about this? How would I go about this? Um, so I play Vegeta just based on like nobody else is doing this, and also I want an arrow in the episode, uh, so I had him be the narrator instead of playing the character, and that means I got to scream a lot as Vegeta. I would scream now, but it is 11:34 p.m. uh, I can do the Vegeta voice if I remember it. I tried doing the Vegeta voice earlier tonight. I feel like I'm losing it. But if I do a quote for the episode, I can probably do it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans. I've never even heard of this dreamland. It must have been too boring for us to even consider conquering. You know, I'm not even going to respond to you. I'm simply going to charge this and see what happens. Penguin. By the way, him calling D only Penguin, perfect. I came up with that idea. No, I have no notes for myself. I think that is legitimately Vegeta DDD might be the perfect fight script. It might be perfect. Guys, I think we did it. I think we can go home. Does anybody have any more questions before I kind of wrap this up and kind of talk about the final thing I want to talk about? Let's not talk about what I'm drinking because you're not going to like the answer. But Seduction Showdown. Seduction Showdown does have a second episode. It's Mario versus Luigi. And if you haven't seen it, you gotta. But episode 3 will drop, of course. It's tradition now, April Fool's Day. That is my. The reason. To kind of like say the joke out loud. The reason why Seduction Showdown is my April Fool's thing is because it's the only show I make where there's a winner. Well, that's that bit. Anything in particular inspired the audiobook format for VSU? Yes, actually. I don't know if I should reveal it. It's really fucking nerdy. Um, so 2020, I um, I got into watching a show called Dimension 20, and it's stuck with me ever since. And that inspired a whole bunch of stuff in my life. Uh, a lot of things. A lot of things. Um, but I Dimension 20 is like a D&D like role playing show, and it just kind of inspired me with the way they like told their stories and the way like they kind of like bounced off each other in that format where it was a bit more, you know, still had production value but was extremely like podcasty. And I was like, "Oh, okay." I don't think about it. I don't think about it. I don't think about it. And then like when I'm kind of ironing out the concept for Versus Universe, once I get the idea that I want to write my own Versus show, I think back to like that, and I'm like, oh, that'd be neat if I do that, but like make it Versus. Um, so yeah, that's why you have a D&D show to thank for Versus Universe's format for fights, and I actually have a mug here that I got from their store with the quote from one of the shows they made. The ball is rolling up the hill. That's a reference for maybe none of you. Maybe none of you get that. But I certainly get it. There's nothing in this mug. I shouldn't have yelled. I'm sorry. What inspired you to cast me in the roles that you did? You're a good actor. I feel like your vibe fit the roles. Yeah, but you get it because I told you. I need somebody who understands me. But you don't understand the reference because you're into the same thing. You understand it because I told you what the reference is. Yeah, I just think your vibe fit, honestly. Like, I thought you'd be good as them. That's it. I'm not like a detailed person when it comes to like casting anything. I'm just like, I think it vibes. Uh, so I think we can get to the final thing that I want to talk about tonight, which they have a full. They have their first season fully out on YouTube. If you want to watch it, it's a time sink though. It's a huge fucking time sink. Uh, every episode is, I believe, every episode is at least over an hour. With every single season, and they have like, they make so many fucking seasons. Yeah, it's kind of, it's like that Critical Role thing where like I'm probably never gonna get into Critical Role, but I'll fucking watch Tales of Vox Machina. I fucking love that show. But I mean, if you want to, you can. If not, you don't have to. I got into it in 2020, and they've made like what 10-ish seasons since then. But I don't regret. I do not regret getting a Dropout subscription. That's like the one streaming service I can like wholly recommend to anybody. They got Wayne fucking Brady on one of their shows. It's crazy, super cool. Like I said, I like comedy. I like comedy. But now I can kind of talk about the final thing I want to talk about here, which is a bit of an announcement, bit of a thing that I could say otherwise. But I wanted to kind of give people a bit of like a background for what Crytic Truth really is before I talk about this. So, At an undisclosed point in the future, I will be doing another live stream. But not just any kind of live stream. I will be doing a fundraising live stream for Project Truth. Um, because I want to pay everybody involved in this, actors, artists, myself. No, I wouldn't pay myself, but really just the actors and the artists. I want to pay everybody in here, and that's a lot of fucking people. So I want to kind of crowdfund this a little bit, and we're probably going to do it through like either Kickstarter or GoFundMe, one of those two. We're not going to handle it through like YouTube donations. But I have pre-written incentives, and I think you're going to like them. I think you're going to like these incentives. Let me read them out for you real quick. So, at $50, we do a versus universe themed Jeopardy. You know, pretty simple. Get like a panel of people I'll be hosting, and we'll talk about it. You know, at $100, I will make a full Seduction Showdown live. From start to finish, scripting, editing, everything. I will stream the entire thing. At $150, we will do a live reading of one versus universe script. One rule, we will not do Joker Jono or Tenacious D versus Ninja Sex Party. We will not do either of those two. At $200, I will do a challenge where I write a song in an hour. At $250, we will do a reveal of 2 tracks from the Phoenix Makoto OST, 1 track for Ace Attorney, 1 track for Danganronpa. At $300, we will do a full Joker versus Giorno live read. At $400, I will do a live performance of at least 5 versus Universe scores. And at $500, which is the max amount that I'm gonna probably set for this GoFundMe, I am going to reveal partial information about Season 3 of Versus Universe. So that's the main goal. It's 500. So if we reach that, if we go past it, perfect. But that's the max amount, I think. I think that's realistic. I think I think I could raise 500. I don't want to say I think I could raise 500, but I think maximum I could raise is 500. That's what I want to say. But yeah, man, it's that's like what I'm talking about. So at some point in the future, I want to do a full like 24-hour, no break. I eat on the stream, kind of deal. We have a party. We get like friends here. We just have a good time generally. Do other versus universe related stuff. Like I was thinking we could do like a Scribblio with all the characters and like bits that I made and stuff like that. Yeah, no, honestly, I think it's just gonna be a fun time, and it's going to help fund this huge, gigantic project that desperately needs funding because I don't have a lot of money. But yeah, nothing else to say really, except a bit of a reveal. That's right. It's me the whole time. I'm White Shirt Sky. I am now Sky Prime. See you in Versus Universe, everybody.